If you've ever wondered why the most spiritual, sensitive, and aware people seem to struggle the most, if you've noticed that those who care the deepest often feel the most alone, if you've questioned why having a spiritual gift sometimes feels more like a burden than a blessing, then you're about to discover something that will change how you see everything. You know that moment when you're in a group of people laughing and joking, but underneath you can feel this heavy sadness that no one else seems to notice? Or when someone tells you they're fine, but every cell in your body is screaming that they're breaking apart inside? Maybe you've wondered why you can't just turn off this radar that picks up everyone's pain. Here's what no one tells you. That gift of feeling everything so deeply isn't your weakness. It's actually your greatest strength. But it comes with a price that most people don't understand. What I'm about to share will completely reframe why you've been struggling. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your pain might actually be the universe's way of preparing you for something extraordinary. But first, I need to tell you about the 3 patterns that almost every sensitive soul experiences. There are 3 patterns I see in every deeply sensitive person's life, and I bet you'll recognize at least 2 of them immediately. The first is what I call energy hemorrhaging. You walk into your favorite restaurant feeling amazing, and leave feeling like someone sucked the life out of you. You spend an hour with a friend who's going through a rough patch, and suddenly you're carrying their depression for the next 3 days. You can't watch the news without feeling physically sick, not because you're weak, but because you're absorbing the collective pain of humanity. The second is purpose paralysis. You have this burning knowing that you're meant for something important, something that matters, but you can't figure out what it is. You watch other people confidently climbing corporate ladders or building businesses, while you feel like you're waiting for a signal that never comes. It's not laziness. It's like your soul refuses to settle for anything that doesn't align with your deepest truth. The third is relationship confusion. People are either magnetically drawn to you or completely intimidated by you. Friends constantly seek your advice, wanting you to fix their problems, but they rarely ask how you're doing. Dating feels impossible because you can see through people's masks on the first date, and most can't handle the intensity of genuine connection you're offering. For years, I thought these patterns meant I was broken. I'd watch normal people navigate life with ease, while I felt like I was swimming upstream against invisible currents. I wondered why everyone else got a manual for life, and I got this overwhelming sensitivity that felt more like a curse than a gift. But then I discovered something that changed everything about how I understood my struggles. What I discovered was this: I wasn't broken. I was simply tuned to a different frequency. Think about it this way. Imagine you're a radio that can pick up stations from around the world, while everyone else can only hear the local pop music. You're constantly overwhelmed by all these different signals, some beautiful, some heartbreaking, some chaotic, while they're wondering why you can't just enjoy the simple song that's playing. Society has taught us that sensitivity is weakness, that feeling deeply is a flaw to be medicated away. But what if your sensitivity isn't a malfunction? What if it's your most sophisticated feature? I remember sitting in a business meeting once, watching everyone nod and smile at a proposal that I could feel was built on lies. My stomach was in knots, my heart was racing, and I thought I was having anxiety. But I wasn't having anxiety. I was having clarity. My sensitivity was giving me information that their logic couldn't access. Your sensitivity is your spiritual radar system. You're detecting emotional pollution that others have learned to ignore. You're feeling the loneliness behind someone's confident facade, the desperation behind their success story, the fear behind their anger. Most people have numbed themselves to these frequencies, but you're still receiving the signal. And yes, it's overwhelming. When you can feel the collective weight of everyone's unspoken pain, when you can sense the emptiness behind society's shiny promises, when you can see how disconnected we've all become from our authentic selves, of course you feel lonely. You're not lonely because you're unlovable. You're lonely because you're looking for real connection in a world that's forgotten what that feels like. That ache in your chest, that's not depression. That's your soul grieving for the authentic world we've lost and calling you to help remember what genuine human connection looks like. Why can't you just make money like everyone else? You've probably wondered this 1,000 times. You watch people half as talented as you building empires, selling products they don't believe in, while you can barely afford rent doing work that actually matters to you. You've been told to think more positively about money, or just work harder, but something inside you revolts against the very idea. Here's what I realized after years of financial struggle. Your relationship with money isn't broken, it's evolved. Most people can compartmentalize. They can sell insurance they know is overpriced, work for companies whose values they despise, or promote products that harm people, all while telling themselves it's just business. But your sensitivity extends to everything, including how you earn your living. When you try to make money in ways that don't align with your values, your body literally rebels. You procrastinate. You self-sabotage. You get sick. You lose motivation. It's not because you're lazy or broken. It's because your soul is protecting you from becoming someone you're not. I remember trying to build a business around something I didn't believe in. Every marketing email felt like lying. Every sales call made my stomach turn. I thought I was failing, but I wasn't failing. I was refusing to betray my own integrity for profit. Your financial struggles aren't about money. They're about alignment. You're being asked to find ways to create value that honor both your gifts and your values. And that's harder than following a traditional path, because you're essentially pioneering a new way of being in the world. The period of financial uncertainty you're experiencing, that's not punishment, that's preparation. You're learning to trust something deeper than security, something more reliable than a paycheck. You know that restless feeling that keeps you awake at 3 a.m.? That sense that you're supposed to be somewhere else, doing something else, being someone else, but you can't figure out what, or where, or who. Most people call this quarter-life crisis, or midlife crisis. But for you, it feels different. It feels like you're waiting for permission to step into a life that's already written somewhere in your soul, but the invitation hasn't arrived yet. Here's what I wish someone had told me during my years of waiting. You're not stuck. You're incubating. Every day you feel like you're wasting time. You're actually becoming someone who can handle what's coming. That sensitivity that makes you cry at commercials, you're learning to feel the world's pain without drowning in it. That financial struggle that makes you question everything, you're discovering that your worth isn't measured by your bank account. That loneliness that makes you question if you'll ever find your people, you're learning to be whole without needing others to complete you. The waiting isn't punishment, it's preparation. But not the kind of preparation society recognizes. You're not building a resume or networking your way to success. You're being prepared at a soul level for work that doesn't have a job description yet. I think about the prophets, the mystics, the healers throughout history. They all had wilderness periods, times when they wandered, questioned, struggled, and felt completely lost. But those weren't their failures. Those were their graduate schools. You're in your wilderness right now, and I know it feels endless, but something is shifting. You can feel it, can't you? That quiet knowing that your waiting is almost over, that everything you've been through is about to make sense. Here's the moment when everything transforms, when you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this making me into?" Because here's what I discovered, and this might sound impossible right now, but stay with me. Every single thing you've been through is creating something in you that the world desperately needs. That loneliness that's been eating at your heart, it's teaching you to love people who feel invisible. You're learning to see the ones who sit alone at lunch, who smile but have sadness in their eyes, who are dying inside while everyone assumes they're fine. Most people can't see these people because they've never been them. That financial struggle that's made you question your worth, It's showing you how to create value without exploiting anyone. You're learning that true abundance comes from serving something greater than yourself, not from manipulating people into buying things they don't need. You're developing an allergy to anything that doesn't feel authentic. That sensitivity that's overwhelmed you for years, it's your compass for navigating a world that's lost its way. While others are chasing external metrics of success, you can feel what actually matters. You can sense when something is aligned with love and when it's driven by fear. When I finally understood this, that my pain was my preparation, not my punishment, everything shifted. I stopped trying to fit into systems that were never designed for people like me. I stopped apologizing for feeling deeply. I stopped seeing my struggles as evidence that something was wrong with me. Instead, I started seeing them as evidence that something was right with me, that I was being prepared for work that matters, for connections that heal, for a life that serves something bigger than my own comfort. The world has enough people who've had easy lives giving advice. What the world needs now are people who've been broken and learned how to transform that brokenness into bridges for others. So, how do you actually live this truth when you're still in the middle of the struggle? Because understanding that your pain has purpose is beautiful, but it doesn't pay your rent. Knowing that your sensitivity is a gift doesn't make crowded spaces less overwhelming. Recognizing that you're being prepared for something greater doesn't solve the loneliness you feel right now. Here's what I've learned about navigating this in-between space. When you can see the bigger picture, but you're still living in the messy reality. First, you have to become fiercely protective of your energy. Not in a selfish way, but in a sacred way. You're carrying something precious that the world needs, and you can't let it be drained away by people who don't understand its value. This means learning to say no to energy vampires, even when they guilt you. It means choosing solitude over soul-crushing social situations. It means honoring your need for quiet spaces in a loud world. Second, you have to start making small choices that align with your truth, even when they don't make practical sense. Maybe that means taking the job that pays less but feeds your soul. Maybe it means moving to a place that feels like home, even if it's not where you should be for your career. Maybe it means ending relationships that drain you, even if it means being alone for a while. Third, you have to trust your inner compass more than external opinions. Your sensitivity isn't just picking up other people's emotions, it's also receiving guidance about your path. That gut feeling that tells you something isn't right, that's not anxiety. That's information. That's sudden excitement when you think about a certain direction. That's not unrealistic dreaming. That's your soul pointing the way. The practical part isn't about having all the answers. It's about learning to trust the questions your soul is asking. There's something happening on this planet right now that most people can't see, but you can feel it, can't you? A stirring, a shifting, an awakening that's happening not just in you, but through you. For the longest time, you thought your struggles were personal failures. But what if I told you that your pain is actually planetary pain? That your sensitivity isn't picking up just individual emotions, but the collective cry of a species that's forgotten how to truly connect? Right now, as we speak, there are millions of people around the world lying awake at 3 a.m., feeling exactly what you're feeling. They're questioning the same systems you can't stomach. They're refusing the same compromises that make your soul revolt. They're carrying the same ache for something more real, more true, more alive. You're not alone in this cosmic initiation. You're part of what I call the Great Remembering, a generation of souls who came here specifically to midwife humanity's next evolutionary leap. Think about what's happening in our world. The old ways of doing business are crumbling. People are leaving jobs by the millions, not because they're lazy, but because their souls are demanding alignment. Mental health is finally being recognized as essential, not optional. Ancient wisdom traditions are being rediscovered. Community gardens are sprouting up in cities. People are choosing connection over consumption. This isn't random. This is orchestrated at a level your mind can't grasp, but your heart recognizes. Your sensitivity? It's the antenna for this new frequency. Your financial struggles? They're keeping you from getting trapped in the old system while the new one emerges. Your loneliness? It's teaching you to love in ways this world has forgotten how to receive, unconditionally, without agenda, with complete presence. You're not broken, beloved. You're a breakthrough waiting to happen. And when you finally understand this, when you stop trying to fit into the old world and start trusting your role in birthing the new one, everything changes. You become a bridge between what was and what's possible. And the world has been waiting for bridges like you. Right now, someone watching this is crying. Not because they're sad, but because for the first time in years, they don't feel alone in their experience. Someone else is taking their first deep breath in months, realizing their weirdness is actually their wisdom. This is what real community feels like. Not people who think exactly like you, but souls who recognize the same frequency, the same longing for depth, the same refusal to settle for surface-level living. I want to ask you something, and I need you to really feel into your answer. When was the last time someone truly saw you? Not the version of you that smiles and says, "I'm fine," but the you that carries the weight of feeling everything so deeply. The you that questions whether this world has space for hearts like yours. Here's what I know. There are people reading these words right now who would understand you in ways your family never could. People who wouldn't be intimidated by your intensity, but would be grateful for it. People who wouldn't try to fix your sensitivity, but would celebrate it as the gift it is. Your isolation isn't meant to be permanent. It's been necessary to help you develop your own inner compass, to teach you to trust your truth even when you're the only one who sees it. But now you're ready to find your constellation. In the comments, I want you to try something vulnerable. Share one truth about your journey that you've never said out loud before. Not for attention, but for connection. Because your courage to be real gives others permission to do the same. Your tribe isn't just waiting, they're searching for you too. Before you close this video and return to your world, I want you to do something with me. Place your hand on your heart. Yes, actually do it. And feel that steady rhythm that's been with you through every moment of doubt, every dark night, every time you question whether you could keep going. This heart of yours has carried more than most people could imagine. It's absorbed the pain of strangers, grieved for a world that's forgotten how to love itself, and somehow still beats with hope for something better. I want you to whisper something to that heart. Thank you for refusing to harden. Thank you for staying open even when it hurt. Thank you for believing in beauty when everyone else settled for survival. You know what the deepest spiritual teachings tell us? That the wounded healer is the most powerful healer. That the heart that's been broken open can hold more love than one that's never been touched by pain. Your sensitivity isn't a design flaw. It's how love moves through you into a world that's forgotten what tenderness feels like. So when you leave here, carry this knowing. You are not too much. You are not broken. You are exactly the medicine this world is crying out for. The path ahead won't always be easy, but it will always be yours.